Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Windshield Time, the podcast where we help you use your windshield time to turn learning into earning. Today on the podcast, is it me or I? Me, and Brandon Cockrell, one of the awesome coaches here at Service Excellence, are going to be talking about observation and questions. Stay tuned. Brandon, think of the absolute nerdiest thing that someone could give you first thing in the morning. The nerdiest thing you could ever get. Like absolute think nerdiest. Like I'm talking, what's the guy's name on Big Bang? Sheldon? I'm talking Sheldon level 10 nerdiness. What do you got?
Like physically?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe a pocket protector? I don't know.
Come in Enterprise.
What
I
is that?
have now what you see here in my hand, Brando, is a communicator from or exact replica, working replica
Star Trek?
from the original Star Trek series.
Yeah, I was a Star Wars guy. Sorry.
That's not all. If you get
Do you
out
have
of
the
hand,
uniform too? Oh, a phaser?
yes,
Where did
I have a phaser, Brandon.
what
What's
what?
the deadliest weapon you have right now on hand?
I've got a pen with a jewel on it.
You missed your opportunity to say my bare hands. I'm just
It's a
saying.
good
You
point.
could have said
It's
your
a good
bare
point.
hands, right?
No one would believe that though.
Well, maybe. But Brandon, Alex is the biggest Trekkie I've ever met.
Okay.
And Sheldon knows nothing about Star Trek compared to what Alex knows.
Wow.
Actually, I
Now
don't even know if Sheldon knew anything about Star Trek on the series. I guess he would have had to. But
fair
look,
enough.
this, and I'm going to get it wrong, and Alex is so much of a nerd, he's going to be dying to correct me the whole time. So just tell me, Alex, what is this? Mid-grade phaser from the original series. Is this one from there or you made this? He made this. And what's the
Oh,
detail level? Very, very, very authentic museum quality phaser.
now I'm more impressed now that it wasn't like a garage sale find.
No, but I mean, I really think it should go pew, pew, pew or something. Actually, they didn't do that. Theirs didn't go pew, pew like the Star Wars ones. Whatever, but it actually is kind of cool,
I will say
right?
it's kind of cool.
It is.
Replica. The
I've
fact that he
never been
made
given
it.
anything nerdier in my life. He didn't give it to me, but hand it to me. He wanted to show it to me, and I am suitably impressed, Alex. I really am. These are cool. Now, wait a minute, Alex. This has a Velcro strip on it. What's that for?
Is there a uniform to go with this?
Is there a uniform to go with this, Alex? Brandon, there's a uniform. I mean,
either had to
really,
be.
do you need to ask if there's a uniform if the guy has a phaser with a Velcro strip on the side of it?
That means there's a utility belt. There's got to be a uniform.
No. We're not Batman here.
Okay, all
We're
right.
not
I was just
Batman, so there's no utility belt. Okay.
okay.
All right, that's out of the way. So let's talk about you, Brandon. So for those of you that may not remember, Brandon was on a podcast with us years and years ago. Because I
It's
think I've
probably
been
been
doing this
4 years.
I think Chris Loudermilk and I started doing this in 2018.
Yeah, it's
Is
probably
when
been
we
4
started.
years
We
since
took it
I've been
over,
on
and it
a
was a service
a
contractor radio show. And I think we had you on there once or twice.
yeah.
So Brandon, I've known Brandon since 2015. When we both worked at another company together, he came to work there as one of our business coaches, and he's a great business coach. He also does our press play technician workshop series, and he
Mhm.
took that over from the great Terry Barrett and learned from Terry, and now he teaches the press play tech workshop series. So if you haven't been to that, you need to come to it. We'll talk about the dates at the end of this podcast, or you can go to the website and check it out. But Brandon is a great trainer. He does a great job with all the technicians, air conditioning technicians, our HVAC technicians, plumbers, electricians that he works with. He's also, or I wouldn't know if you're a certified expert, but you're also expert at landscaping business stuff because you supported landscaping businesses in the past. And Brandon is a graduate of the prestigious University of Houston Conrad Hilton School of Hotel and Restaurant Management.
It's a
Is that
mouthful,
right?
but you got it all correct. Yeah.
It's a mouthful, and I probably got some things out of order,
It
but
sounded good to me.
yes, it sounds good. Anytime there's somebody's name Conrad, I mean,
Yeah.
think about it.
Yeah.
Where did you get that phaser from? I got it from Conrad Smith.
Oh,
Wow.
well then, yeah.
I don't know who
Credibility
Conrad Smith. Hey,
automatic.
Conrad Smith, if you're listening, drop me an email. But yeah, anyway.
Yeah.
But today, Brandon and I are going to be talking about how when you go into a home, you use your skills of observation that drives questions, and those questions should help you in uncovering and anticipating, minimizing, or possibly even eliminating potential objections. And that's what we're going to go through today. And so we've talked about it before, and it's probably been recently, I would guess. I would ask Alex, but he's not going to remember. But on a recent podcast, we've talked about how you have to be curious. As a technician, you must be curious about the things you see. If you see something displayed prominently in someone's home, you need to ask about it because people, when they display something like that, they want people to see it. Obviously they want themselves to see it when they walk through a room. If they got a picture on the wall or this particular item, like Alex has phasers on stands and on the wall around his house, I'm sure. Because what does Alex want? Alex wants me to ask about his phasers, right? And I think I'm
Acknowledgement.
minimizing that a little bit, Alex, and I don't mean to be. But that's why we display things prominently in our homes, is because we want people to ask about them. We're proud of those
Mhm.
things. One of the things I know Brandon has right inside his front door is what?
Portrait of my family and I.
Yeah. And we got the wife and three kiddos, right?
Yes, sir.
Right inside the door. Is Blue in the picture?
No, we have not added any pets to our photos yet, and I hope we don't, because that just adds one more level of difficulty in taking pictures.
Well, especially with Blue, because if Blue is in the picture, no one else is.
Correct.
So tell us
Yeah,
about Blue real quick.
Yeah, so I have he's a 2-year-old Great Dane. He's I think when he stands up, he's about 6'2" and weighs about 130 pounds. So yeah, he'll cover up 3 kids easy.
Yes. And so, but again, if I'm walking in Brandon's house and that picture is displayed on the wall, I'm going to make a comment about it.
Mhm.
But let me give you some guidelines on this. And Brandon, there is no order to this. Just jump in whenever, please.
Sure. Yeah.
But it's mostly about me. You know that, right?
Yeah.
No, not really.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll help.
Are you going to disagree with anything I say today?
We'll see. I was told once that I have ideas, and you'll let me know if they're great.
That's right. That's right. I'll let you know if they're great. No, they're going to be
Thanks.
awesome. So one of the things that I know can be awkward or difficult for a lot of technicians is the small talk stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because what are you after here when you go into a home? You're taught your whole career, unless you've been taught by us or you've been taught by trained in a program that brings in people like us to train on customer service and communication and those kind of things. You've never received any training on how to deal with customers. You've never
On the
received any
soft side.
training. And the reason you became a technician is because you probably wanted to work with stuff rather than people. Is that
Mhm.
fair to say, Brandon?
Yeah, problem solvers.
Yeah. And so when you walk up to a house, you're thinking, well, I want to get to work, or the customer just wants me to fix it, and those kind of things. And you're not wrong about those things. And we'll talk more about that in another podcast. You're not wrong about those things. But in the moment, when you get to the front door and you do your professional introduction and you're showing respect for the person and their property, that can be scripted. And you have to be comfortable going off script.
Mhm.
You have to be comfortable. Now, having to come up with something to talk about is as simple as, what do you see? Right? Let me ask you this, Brandon. You've been on a lot of ride-alongs, you've been on service calls. What's the craziest thing you've seen walking into someone's house?
Well, this is not necessarily the craziest thing I've seen, but I was thinking about it since you brought up the phaser and the
I got the phaser right here. If you're watching,
walkie-talkie. I know it's probably rude to call it a walkie-talkie, but the communicator. I actually walked into
Alex just
a
threw up in his
lady.
mouth. I heard him.
I'm sorry. Walked into a lady's home. I was in Minnesota, and there was a giant Lego Millennium Falcon flying off of the mantle, right? And so, being a Star Wars guy, I was like, "Oh, that's awesome!" I was like, "That's really cool," right? And it was only the wife that was home, and she goes, "God, I hate that thing." And I said, "I can
Okay.
only, I go, I
You know
can
what just
only
happened
assume."
to Alex? Alex fist bumped when you said it, and then his face just fell like this when you said, I hate that. When she said, I hate that thing.
Well, and so I said, I can only assume that's your husband's. She goes, yes, he won't let me take it down. I said, well, I can promise you this, Mrs. Jones. When he gets home, I won't tell him how much I like it. Okay, just for you. And she said, thank you.
Well, let's break that. I
And
want to break that down. That's a good one. I want to break that down. Let's break that
yeah,
down for it. So, what did you do? The simplest part of that is you walked in the house and you saw something that caught your attention.
hmm
Okay, why was it there? Because
oh,
someone in the home wanted it to be prominently displayed.
hmm
And when somebody displays something like that, there's a phrase that that's used sometimes. We put it in pride of place. You ever heard that before?
yeah,
Okay. So it's in pride of place. What that means is someone's proud of it and they're putting it in a prominent place to display it.
right.
So when you see the Lego Millennium Falcon, which that thing probably cost what, Alex? $3,000?
Oh, it had to have been very.
Maybe a thousand
Legos are
bucks, he
crazy.
says.
Yeah, I would have.
It's always
Yeah,
good to have a guy that knows how much Lego kits cost.
right.
Alex is my Lego guy.
There you go.
Hey, a good producer is the fill in the blank guy.
Well versed.
Yes, he's well versed. So they obviously displayed it because they wanted you to talk about it, right?
hmm
Well, something else happened there too when you ask about it.
hmm
What did she say to you?
She said, "God, I hate that thing."
Okay. And what else did she say? But
Well, then I recommend I suggested, I said, well, then it must be your husband's.
yes, it must be your husband's that. So
R-
you actively probed that. And what
Right.
did you find out?
She
Yes,
said,
she has a
yes.
husband.
hmm
And was he there?
Nope.
Now, if you can imagine the scene, you guys out there, imagine the scene in your mind. Here's Brandon. The lady comes to the door. He walks in, and he looks coming off the mantle is the Millennium Falcon Lego set. It's pride of place, prominently displayed. They want to talk. Somebody wants you to talk about it. You talk about it to the wife, And if the husband was there, what would have happened, do you think? What's a possibility?
We probably have a good 5-minute conversation on how long it took to build, when he got it, the whole history, the origin
That's
of
if the
stuff.
husband was there, right?
Correct.
But how do we
Yep.
know he's not there at this point?
Well,
Do
because
we?
she said she didn't like it.
Okay, so that's a clue. Maybe he's not there. He's not within earshot. But
Right.
okay, but can you see this scene unfolding? You walk in, you see it, you talk about it. That's my husband's, and or no, I hate that thing. Well, it must be your husband's. Yes, and he won't let me take it. What if she would have gone, yeah, and he won't let me take it down,
Now here he comes.
and then you might have heard him, or he could have come out, or whatever. Well, now you would know he's there,
Right.
right?
Yep.
And so in that case, I'm guessing he wasn't there.
No. No, he was traveling for business.
So now you have something shared. You're in on a secret now
Yep.
with her. You're in on a secret. Maybe it's not a closely guarded secret, but
Right.
you're in on a secret that she hates that thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now imagine if you didn't say anything. What would have
I
happened?
didn't make any connection.
I mean, and you could have made a connection about something else.
Sure.
But another way that conversation could have gone, you recognize it, you say something, she says that, and she says, yeah, then it must be your husband. Yeah, and he won't let me take it down. And you said, well, if I talk to him, I won't tell him I like it, or something like that.
Right.
I'll make sure I tell him I like
Right.
it.
Right.
So that's a way to kind of be on her side now,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
But you could have easily continued the conversation, because that's what this is. This is
Mm-hmm.
not a tell me about that. Tell me about that. Tell me about that. It's not what it's about. That's not what it is. It could have gone, well, what do you get to display? What of yours do you get to display?
Yeah.
And she could have said, well, I just put pictures of the kids everywhere.
Yeah.
And
Well,
just in that, go ahead.
the good thing about it was whenever I said, well, when I see him, I won't mention it to him. And she said, oh, don't worry about that. He's away on business.
Oh, okay.
So
So
I
now
found out.
he's out of town.
Right.
He's away
Right.
on business. So just to pursue that line a little further, it could get awkward at that point if you're like, well, do I need to talk to your husband, or do we need to call your husband, or anything like that? We got to be careful with how we approach this. But see, now that we've had that conversation, we observed something and we talked about it. There's a couple of things that happened there. We broke the ice, and now we're kind of in on something. We're kind of on the same side of it, and that kind of thing. And then she says, well, my husband, you don't have to worry about it. You won't see him. He's out of the picture now, or
Right.
which the Millennium Falcon would not have been a Millennium Falcon Lego set. It would have been a pile of Legos,
Right.
right?
Right.
If he was no longer
Yeah.
in the picture. But
Correct.
let's time out. Alex, is it Millennium Falcon or Falcon? It's Millennium Falcon, not Falcon. Where do I get that from? They had to say it in the movie. Like Han and Han. Okay.
I think that's just where
Well,
you
no,
grew up.
Alex went into describing the vowels to me. Long A, short A, or short A.
Get an English lesson.
Falcon, Han. Okay, but no, I see what you did there, Alex. That's good. Okay. And somebody's going, that's the nerdiest thing that's happened to me today, as I just listened to that.
Yeah. That 30 seconds.
So at this point, he's on a trip, and now you know that it's a possibility
Yep.
that there's not going to be a decision until the husband gets involved. Not because he's the only one that can make the decision, not some sexist thing, just because my wife wouldn't make that decision without me unless it was something that was totally independent of me. Right?
Correct. Same.
Like what color to paint the cabinets or whatever, she would make that decision.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to choose on that.
But if something's wrong with something and I'm out of town and she's got to get it repaired, I'm going to have to be on the phone with the person. I'm going to have to.
Same.
And so I don't know, you don't know what this person's dynamic is, but if we back up to the beginning, you were brave enough to ask about it.
Mm-hmm.
And what I want to do is I want to empower you guys out there, guys and gals. If you're a technician, you need to be bold enough to ask about things that are prominently displayed in a house, because it leads you into a conversation about something positive for the person. It also helps break the ice, and it helps you start forming that relationship. So don't be afraid to talk about something. Now, if it's super weird, maybe you want to avoid it. But nevertheless, if it's prominently displayed, they probably want you to talk about it. They want
That's
you
right.
to see it and ask a question about it.
Right.
So be bold enough to do that. I've mentioned it on here before, but probably one of the craziest icebreaker things I've seen recently, I was in Delaware visiting our friends at Bolden Brothers and doing a ride along with one of the maintenance techs, and we went to this home, and he got to the door a little before me. The customer opened the door as soon as he got there, and I'm walking up behind him, and we start putting on our floor savers, and he gets his on before me and steps into the house, take 2 steps into the house, past the door, and he says, "Wow, I like the mummy." And I thought, it's December. Why are we talking about the mummy? And so then I get in and it's a 7-foot tall. It wasn't real gold, but it was like, the sarcophagus. It's like a coffin. It's all gold, and it has the outline of the pharaoh and whatever. It's the blue and the gold, whatever. That was standing like against a wall in the living room. Like, there's no way that you're not going to talk about this thing in their house.
Yeah.
Now, I thought that's the weirdest thing I ever heard, but we get in the house, and then we had a 5-minute conversation with the lady about this Egyptian thing and where she got it and why she has it. And we found out she lived there by herself, and I think she was an academic. She was like a professor or something like that of antiquities.
Yeah.
Now who does she sound like, Alex? A professor of antiquities. Indiana Jones, thank you. Did you just look at me through the crack in the door? Oh, there you are. Okay. Alex is in our booth, which is a closet. It's awesome, though. I like being able to talk to you, Alex. Moving the curtain is a good idea for Todd to do. So when we talked to that lady about this, we found out all these things. And when we think about handling objections, everybody wants to get a yes and, make them say yes and make them change their mind to say yes. And well, that is the desired outcome. The goal is to get a clear future. The goal is to make sure they clearly understand what's happening. The goal is to figure out if it's a smokescreen or a condition, because we can problem solve for a condition. Mm-hmm. That's the goal of handling objections. But the best way to handle objection, as we always say, is through your process. Follow the principles of in-home sales and service that we outline in Press Play.
Right.
That's the best way. And of course, that would take you to, say, press. And the P, the prescription of the second P in Press Play's prescription. By that time, we've done most of that P prescription. We've presented our findings, and we've made our recommendations and provided our solutions and options. And so everything up to that point is designed in one way or another to help you discover, identify, and start to minimize or eliminate objections before they come up. And you have to see it that way. And so you think about it when you're walking up to, where do you start observing? And we start observing, we pull up to the house. But I want to be clear about something. Observing is seeing what's there. It is not necessarily making judgments.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And again, as we said before on the podcast, we leave all the prejudices we bring to the table in the truck about people, about money, situations, whatever. And that includes you walk up to the house and they have a panel that you don't like. Okay? Leave that in the truck. It's just what they have, right? Unless it's a FPE panel or a Zinsco panel, then everybody hates those. So that's okay to hate them.
Right. Yep.
So, but it's like, oh man, that's a Goodman. I don't, man. And you make these kind of judgments. Well, yeah, you observed it was a Goodman. You observed it was an FPE panel. So, okay, great. What we don't want to do is take observations and draw conclusions without asking questions.
There we go.
And it
Yep.
doesn't mean it's necessarily a direct question. Like you walk up to a house, the garage door's up. And it's a 2-car garage. There's a car in the garage. There's a space next to the other one, and they got the tennis ball hanging from the ceiling. So you know somebody parks in that other spot. You don't walk to the door and go, hey, I couldn't help notice a car was missing. Is there another decision maker that's not here?
A little too forward.
You wouldn't do that, would you, Brandon?
No, absolutely not.
So we obviously made an observation. So how can we find out? We know there's probably a car missing, which means a person is missing.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we find out without sounding like a jerk trying to uncover something that we're going to use against them? So what are some ways we can do that, Brando?
I think it all comes from organic conversation and those observations. And I think one of the struggles is, or fears for technicians, is the fear of being intrusive. And I think that's what stops a lot of organic conversation from happening as well. I don't want to touch that. And like you said, some of those things, you're right. You don't want to touch some of those things, but you can get around those by thinking about your questions very carefully and posing them the right way. And you can get more information. You might not be able to ask the direct question that would get you there faster. You just got to develop those questions around getting to the information that you want.
Yeah, and sometimes one observation is not enough to generate anything.
Correct.
Right? It's just like maybe it's too soon to talk about. I don't know. Did you watch the Cowboys game last night?
Up until the lightning delay, but then that got past my bedtime, so I had to go to bed.
Well, the score didn't change. Alex, did you watch the football game? He said no.
I woke up and I was like, wait a minute, did they finish? I didn't know if they just called the game or something. I was like, how did it not change in the last, what? I mean, they had
19 minutes and 44 seconds of game left because they had the 15 minutes of the fourth quarter, and then they had 4:44 in the third left.
Yeah.
And it stayed the same. Anyway, so we know both of those teams watch game film.
Oh, yeah.
And the Cowboys were watching hard for something because the defense on Philadelphia changed. And 2 of their losses last year came from Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, they're watching game film hard. They're trying to figure out how they're going to counter because they don't have Micah Parsons. They're doing all these things to try to find an edge, right?
Yep.
And what doesn't have, they talked about who the play caller, the defensive signal caller was last night. I can't remember the guy's name, but they talked about him, and I just started thinking in my mind, thinking about, okay, what is he doing to call those signals? Well, he's not just looking for a pattern to match exactly what he saw in the game film, right? There's a lot of subtleties that go into him predicting what's coming and then having the confidence to make the call to shift the defense, right? And it might be, okay, well, they're lined up in this pattern. That's pretty predictable. They got 2 receivers on this side, 1 on this side, 2 guys in the backfield. Oh, wait a minute. That's what it looked like. But then once the quarterback started calling signals, he walked up under center. They don't normally do that. Okay, now I'm switching to something else. So he's not making that call yet until he's like, okay, I've got enough information now I can make that call. So in this case, like for instance with you and talking about the Lego set, the Millennium Falcon Lego set, Alex, you found out all the information you needed to know and make the call that, yes, we're going to talk to my spouse, more than likely.
Right. Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean it's going to happen, but it means it's highly likely that it will happen because now you know there is a husband. He is not there. He's
Yep.
away on business. Now, we don't know if she's the decision maker and he just says whatever, or if there's going to be some collab going on or whatever. But now we know we've got to figure that out some way. Just like if we pull up to a house and we see a car gone, we can't just come right out and ask. But that's not the only signal. That's not the only observation to make. If we then go in the house and then I walk in the foyer and I see a picture of a family, husband and wife and kids, I'm guessing at this point, okay, probably the husband is not here because the lady answered the door, right?
Right. Right.
But I don't know that still yet. I still need a few more observations, but I'm leaning now towards I'm probably going to get that. And so, just for instance, on this one, if I know that I'm getting ready to get, or that's a possibility, then I have to alter what I do a little bit and how I'm asking questions to help minimize or expedite or eliminate. I threw expedite in there, but minimize or eliminate, but expedite as well.
Yeah.
Because we know that one of the ways to handle the talk to my spouse is to try to get the spouse involved in the conversation, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So I might ask. Well, he's away on business, so will you be handling everything today? I could ask that.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm not comfortable asking that, maybe I wait and I can move on. Or maybe I don't say anything about it right after we talk about that. Millennium Falcon, don't worry about it. He's not here, so you won't see him. You won't see him anyway. He's away on business. Maybe I don't talk about it there. Maybe I bring it up when I do my cap statement and I'm talking about agenda and price.
Yep. Yep. And I think you set expectations of, hey, once I gather all of my information, I'll come back, I'll share everything with you. And at that point, would you like to include your husband in that, or will you take advantage of this process, or whatever that looks like?
Yeah. You know, there's many ways those conversations can go, but I couldn't help but think back to her comment. Well, you won't see him because he's away on business.
Mm-hmm.
You could have made a joke, you could have made a joke like, "Oh, is he in the Lego business?" And she told you he was at work, and you said, "Well, oh, is he away at a Star Wars convention?"
Yeah. Yeah.
But you know, this is probably going to sound stupid. You know, when I get finished, and I'm going to go through everything with you, and you'll get to decide what we do. I won't do anything about your decision. Well, is that something we want to at that point try to get the Wookiee involved, or are you going to take care of yourself? How terrible was that?
Oh,
Was that
the
terrible?
question is, if she hates it that much, she may not be familiar, and it may
She might
land
go, "Oh
poorly.
Lord, not you too."
Yeah. Yeah.
But the point of that, of course, I kid. But the point of it is that we're observing things and we're okay to talk about it. And there's a
Mhm.
principle here too that once something is in the conversation between you, imagine that there's this I don't know. Imagine there's this big bucket between you, and that
Mhm.
bucket is the things you've talked about.
Yeah.
Once it comes up and it's in the bucket, you can talk about it. It's in the conversation
Absolutely.
bucket, you can talk about it.
Yep.
Right. And an extreme example is me and Alex are out at the bar, and I know Alex has been having some um, some trouble. I heard from a friend that he's been having some trouble in his relationship, and you know maybe they split up, but I don't want to ask him about it. Right. We sit down, we're having a beer, and Alex goes, "Yeah, me and Alex split up. Now I can talk about it." Yeah, I heard that. I
Absolutely.
thought didn't want to ask you about it, but since you brought it up,
Yep.
by the way, I'm not wishing that mojo on you, Alex. But by the way, Alex's girlfriend's name? Alex.
Alex squared. I like it. It's like
Yes.
my mother and stepfather. They're Terry and Terry,
Oh, that's right. That's right. I forgot. Terry and Terry.
spelled differently, but
Oh, it's spelled differently is okay. It's a little better.
a little
Spelled
better.
exactly the same? Not quite.
Yeah.
So here's what you need to do and take from this is that when you walk to the door, you're observing, and you need to train your brain to be observing and filing things away. Okay, maybe it's something that's going to give you a clue to a potential objection. You know, maybe it's something that it's okay. I want to talk about this later. You're just filing it. Maybe it'll come up later. Maybe I'll ask about it later.
Yeah.
Maybe they say something to me. Oh yeah, I saw that in the garage. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Or oh yeah, I noticed that picture you had on your mantle. That's really cool.
It allows you to create a connection, that common ground, no matter what it is, and friends share that information and enjoy having those conversations. So the quicker we can get to being looked at like a friend and not associated with the problem, it's going to be a lot easier on us when we do have to handle objections. Because if we don't have any established relationship and we haven't gotten underneath just that surface conversation, how's the weather, then handling those objections can be very difficult because we've got nothing to build on.
That's right. And there's no trust there for them to open up and tell us something. Because when they give us a smoke screen, they're not going to be opening up to tell us what the true condition is a lot of times. So this is critical in breaking the ice and getting it into the conversation, do all those kind of things, and starting to form that relationship. And here's the ultimate thing. You want to build a relationship, like Alex is my Lego guy, and clearly he's my how to build a phaser guy.
Right. Everybody needs one of them.
Everybody needs a guy. And when I say guy, it could be male or female, but you know what I mean, right?
Right.
Like, that's my AC guy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's my plumber, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, the funny thing is, these things last longer than we think. Longer than we think. Because it's like, do you have a mechanic that you take your cars to? What am I talking about? You drive dealership ready cars. Right?
Yeah, my brother has a mechanic because he's got a 1976 Bronco that he always has work done on, and so he's got a mechanic that he trusts and goes to on a regular basis.
And we talk about a regular basis, a couple times a year maybe, depending on what. Well, 76 Bronco, a couple times a month.
Right. It was like that for a while, but no, now it's project stuff.
Yeah, and so we have somebody like that. Or think about your doctor.
Mm-hmm.
How often do you go to with your kids, you go to their doctor all the time, but with your doctor, how often do you go to your doctor?
Once a year.
But they're still your doctor.
Right.
Right? Why? Because they know intimate things about you. They're your doctor. Mm-hmm. You take your car to an auto mechanic maybe once a year. It could have been a couple of years before you've gone to actually a mechanic for a fix. But the last one you used that was, oh yeah, they're my mechanic.
Right.
And so that's what we're going for here. And the reason is because they probably know some intimate details about you.
Mm-hmm.
And here's what I want you to consider, and we'll leave it on this, is when you go into someone's house, you have been invited there.
Right.
Maybe not you personally by name, but the company by reputation or whatever has been invited to the home. So you are seeing intimate places, and that's one thing that people who have never gone into other people's homes in a service situation. I mean, think about plumbers. Where do plumbers get to go? They go into probably the most intimate place in the house, which is the master bathroom.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Because what do you keep in your master bathroom? Unmentionables. You keep medicines, all that kind of stuff. You keep all the secrets that keep you looking like this.
Right.
That you might not want people to know. But that's an intimate space, right?
Yeah.
And when you have an intimate space and you allow someone into your intimate space, now all of a sudden they know a lot more about you than most people do.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it.
Yeah.
And so when you get invited into a home, they're inviting you into their space, and things they have displayed prominently in their home, you need to ask about. because they want you to,
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
Now, that's usually in a foyer, a front room, maybe a kitchen.
Yep.
If there's something in the bedroom, you may not want to ask about some things.
Yeah, a
But
picture on the nightstand or something like that. Yeah, probably leave that alone.
that's a little more intimate. But especially when you walk up to the house, anything like if they got a flag in the front yard of something, you know,
Yeah, team.
um, if they have a Longhorns fan, a flag in their yard and they're a Longhorns fan, you could say, man, doesn't the rattle from that bandwagon get pretty loud sometimes?
Don't do that.
Don't do that. But, we've talked about it before. If they've got, like, I remember going in this lady's house in Pennsylvania, and she had a firefighter's flag in the front flower bed. Just a little flag that said firefighter lives here.
Nice.
And you go in the house, and boom, it hits you. There's like two big display cases on the walls where she worked as a dispatcher for the fire department for 911 or whatever. She had all these
Oh, nice.
patches from different station houses. Her father was a firefighter. Her husband was a firefighter. Her sons are firefighters. It's all over the place.
Yeah,
What do you think she wants you to ask about?
absolutely.
Ask about it. Talk about it. Don't ignore it.
Absolutely.
Not asking about it can offend some people.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's
And so
predominantly displayed.
that's right. Ask about that. And the goal is that breaks the ice and you learn more. You weren't learn other things about the person. Like in asking about that, oh, is your husband a firefighter? Well, yes, he was for 30 years. He passed away. And my father was, and both of my boys are, and I work there. So now you know all these things, and you've asked about something they're proud of. They're more
That's right.
likely to give you more information now. And we're not doing it to manipulate them into doing that. I want to make that clear. What we're doing is to make a
Mhm.
connection because
That's right.
people that are connected with you a little bit, they understand you better.
Hmm.
They're willing to listen to you more. And that's what we need. Also, we can get clues to things that might be objections later. Like, you know, I've had the situation before. We've gone into a home and it's a senior citizen, and I ask a question about, they've got a nice house, and I said, "Wow, this beautiful home. How long have you been here?" Well, we just moved in. We there again. You ask about like the house. We moved in 10 years ago because we needed someplace we needed a house we could pay off because, we're now on a fixed income.
Hmm.
Okay, what do we get there just from asking a question about the house? There's a they've been there 10 years. We're on a fixed income, present tense. The we is still with us,
Right.
right?
Yep.
So, fixed income, what does that mean? Well, their fixed income could be 25 grand a month. I don't know.
Yeah.
But they're just fixed income. So they're going to be probably a little price sensitive. So I know that now. I know there's also an unseen person there that's part of the we.
Yep.
And so all of these things help me in anticipating objections so I can make adjustments on the fly to handle or to minimize or eliminate those objections as I go, or at least to set it up so it's easier for me to handle. Like in the case of, we know the husband is now on a work trip. Now we
Hmm.
turn that into, when we talk about presenting to them later or what the process looks like, then we can bring that person in, and now we know in that case, every question I ask, we're in Texas, so it's going to be y'all, instead of you.
Right. Right. Or use guys.
If I'm in Philadelphia,
Right.
definitely. If I'm in Philadelphia, use guys. Absolutely. So it's regionally colloquial, right, Alex? I got the thumbs up on that. I got a confirmation from Alex that it
Good.
is
Good.
regionally colloquial. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but it sounds
It
pretty
sounds
good.
good.
It sounds
Yeah.
pretty good,
I'm with
right?
you. Yep.
So remember, use your powers of observation. That will drive questions. Those questions will give you answers more than just the answer to the question.
Hmm.
For instance, you just made a comment. You didn't ask a question. You just made a comment about the Millennium Falcon driven by flown, piloted by, is it Han or Han? What's the official canon on that, Alex?
Han.
Han Solo. Okay. Did you know the Han Chinese are the largest ethnic group in the world?
Did not know that,
Now
but I
you
do
do.
now. Save
And
that
that's
for
how
later.
Star Wars is connected to China.
Got it.
But you made a comment about the Millennium Falcon,
Mm-hmm.
and that revealed an emotion behind it, and it wasn't pride, which if the husband was there, it would have been pride, but this is resentment,
Right.
which you then turned into a question. Did you turn into a question after that? I don't remember.
No,
So
I
yes,
just
my
followed up
husband's
with
and I hate
emotion.
it.
Right.
And
And I
what'd you
just told
say?
her, I said, if, when he shows up, I won't mention that I like it.
And
Just
then
to be
she
on her
said,
side. Don't worry, he's actually away on business. He won't be here today.
all you did was make a comment. And what did you
Yep.
find out? There's a we, there's a
Yep.
husband. He's not there. She hates the Millennium Falcon.
Yep.
Falcon. Whatever.
Falcon.
And all that was from observation. So use your powers of observation. It will drive questions or comments that will then open up more information for you. And remember,
Yep.
always keep it conversational. It's never an interrogation or an interview. Okay.
Or a survey.
All right. If you want to learn more about this from me, as always, Elmore at serveextra.com or 254-733-7109. If you want to talk to Brandon, which why wouldn't you? Because you haven't wanted to talk to James or me all these years. Maybe. No, that's not true. Shout out to Julian and Andrew out in California. They reached out to me over the last couple of weeks from the podcast asking questions. So please do that. I do answer.
Awesome.
If you want to talk to Brandon.
Brandon at serveextra.com or 254-749-3867.
Or you can go to our website, www.serveextra.com, servextra.com. We do have a tech class coming up, a tech workshop series coming up, taught by the one and only Brandon Cockrell. And what are the dates on that, Brandon?
The tech class is going to be the 25th through the 27th.
September 25th through the 27th here in Butte. It's not too late. You can still get in the class. Also, check our website for future class dates, other episodes of the podcast. Like or share this. Send us recommendations for topics. Lots of free stuff there for you to download, too. Now, Brandon, you may not know this. You may not remember. But the way we end this is I ask you a question about what we do here at Service Excellence. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
You respond, we turn learning into earning, and you have to sing it in the style of the artist that I give you.
This
Did you know
sounds
that?
miserable. No, but when I signed up, that wasn't communicated, and so
It's
I'll give
implied.
it my best. Gotcha.
Okay, so you know the answer to the question, what do we do here at Service Excellence, right?
I know
Return
the
learning and earning.
answer. Don't
Okay,
know if I'm
you
going to
ready?
know the artist and their style, but here we go.
Shabuzi.
Oh,
Your face. How about this? Just your first podcast back with us for a long time. Just answer the question. Brandon, what do we do here at Service Excellence?
we turn learning into earning.
Thanks, everybody.